Hello, welcome to my Mizuno #AGG live. We have a special guest with us tonight. We have Chris Volschel, who is a senior club designer with Mizuno, talking to us about your questions on Mizuno irons. So in my hand here I've got the MP5s, which is the kind of bladed one which we're going to talk about. We've also got, with some mud in it where I've been hitting it. Oh, that's the same club, MP5. Here we go. We got the MP25s as well. If you go on to, you can post comments in Twitter actually, as well as we've got some questions on the MP25. So if you hunt out my MP25 video and post a comment, but I would probably do that after you've watched this live feed, because you're watching this live feed. So if you want to post a comment while we're live, you can certainly do that on Twitter and Facebook as well, but Twitter as well. And you can obviously also post it in the chat. So what we're going to do, I'm pulling quite heavily on my internet, so we're going to see how this goes. I am going to call Chris, he's in the States. I'm calling him via thy internet. So let's give him a call and see if we can throw some questions his way and learn a little bit more about these clubs that he has designed. Let's get hold of him.
Hello.
Chris, hello. You are live on YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I've never been live on YouTube.
Yeah, I've only just started doing it and it's all quite good fun, to be honest. So we've got a few questions for you. We're talking Mizuno irons. I've posted my MP25 review today, which I've enjoyed these clubs. Can you tell us a little bit about the MP25s just to kick us off? So obviously it's grain flow forged. I think this one's got boron in it or through it or whatever boron does. Tell us a little bit about the MP25.
It's chock full of boron. It's a great thing.
Okay.
So, no, this is a club that we've been working on for a while now. You know, we first introduced the boron technology last year in our Jpx 850.
Okay.
And it allowed us to kind of do some new things within the forging world. Go a little bit thinner, have a little bit more structural integrity, and really be able to push the limits of what you can do on a forging, which was great and all in the 850, but what's really exciting for me as somebody who really likes to look down at better players, kind of smaller clubs, is the opportunity that the boron allowed us in this club. So with it, we got a couple things. We have first off the boron, which allows the rest of the technologies to actually happen. So there's the micro slot that exists inside the club.
Yeah.
You can't see it at address. There's nothing on the sole or nothing from the cavity that you can see, but it's actually a hollow club where we went back and actually milled from the sole side with a T-slot, or excuse me, with an end mill cutter, and took meat out to make a really large rebound area. So even though the head itself is a small faced iron, the rebound area is much larger than it looks like and much larger than a traditional player's iron.
Fantastic.
So for that reason, you're able to get a little bit more spring off the face. By no means is it a distance iron in terms of, you know, competing against some of the, you know, the competitors with crazy lofts and huge faces, but for the better players market, it's a new technology and kind of a new execution of how to get a little bit more distance, a little bit more spring, and more consistent distance.
Fantastic. So in the back of this MP25, I've got one here for the viewers at home to see. There's a little slot basically in this muscle bit is what you're saying, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah, so we actually went through from the sole side, kind of parallel to the face,
right,
and cut it right out, which is actually, it led to a couple interesting things. Not only did it increase that rebound area, but, you know, the sole number itself, where traditionally it's stamped on, we actually had to go back and engrave that sole number on there, just because that slot extends out to where the sole number is. So again, just pushing as much weight as we could away from that center and leaving a larger rebound area just to get more pop.
Excellent. Okay, so that's going to lead me to my first question. Brendan Brown has asked, he's asked this on the video, my review of the MP25s. He said, forged boron, you say, Mark. Is boron not added to steel to make it very hard? So saying that this will be a big difference to the feel of the club. Is this new development in club making by adding boron? So he's questioning how hard Boron makes the steel, which kind of I think is what you're saying out there, which allows you to then make it thinner in places. Am I right? What do you think?
Yeah, well, you're right and wrong. So boron does a couple of things. So correct, it is still a boron steel. It's still a 1025 mild carbon steel.
Okay.
So it still has that 0.25 or 0.025% carbon content, still bendable like a traditional 1025 carbon steel, but the addition of boron, it's in a very, very small, like trace amounts, approximately 3 parts per million.
Okay.
What that does is it allows us to do a heat treatment to the club after the fact that actually encourages the formation of, let's get really nerdy on here, the ferrite phase as opposed to the martensite phase of that mild carbon steel.
Okay.
Ferrite is basically a stronger phase of the steel, so it is stronger, yet it's not necessarily harder. Those two things oftentimes get tied together in people's heads. So it's stronger, meaning it's going to be more durable, but it's not necessarily harder. It's not going to feel hard because it is still a 1025 mild carbon steel. So that added strength gives us the design flexibility, but it is a mild carbon steel, so it still has that soft Mizuno feel and still gets a lot of pop.
Okay, that's great, brilliant, cool, that kind of does that. So another question here from Matthew Parsons. Matthew is asking, this is also a comment on the video, are they strong lofted or more of the standard lofts? So obviously lofts, you know, nowadays there's no real patterns to lofts anymore, is there? I mean, but certainly some companies are heading in stronger ways. So the lofts on MP25, also the lofts on the MP5, what are they like for strengths and what have you?
So, I mean, you're right. The world has gotten a little bit crazy, kind of loft crazy, where a lot of distance stories are coming from lofts. Yeah. With these, because they're on the MP side of things, they're very clean, very traditional, very player-oriented. We didn't do anything with the lofts. So the loft on these, it's a 46-degree pitch and a 30-degree 6-iron. So that's going to sit kind of right in the wheelhouse of what better players are playing. So we did nothing comparing this to our old 54, our 32, our 64. We didn't do anything to make these stronger lofted. We wanted to get distance through technology, not what we like to call specology, which is just jacking around with numbers.
Specology. Yeah, I like that. Okay, another good question here. This one's coming through the chat on the video. What's in your bag, Volsh? So what's in Volsh's bag?
So I'm actually playing the 25s on, I play them from the 5-iron down to the pitching wedge. Yeah. I've still got my H5 and the 3 and 4, just because those clubs launch it so easy. And if I'm trying to work a 3 or a 4-iron, I'm doing something wrong. I just want those to go high. Yeah. So I play H5, 3 and 4, 25, 5-iron down. I got the new S5 wedges, the blue ion. Yeah. I got those in the 58 and 51. A Jpx 850 driver, an old MX 700 3-wood, and a Jpx Ez hybrid.
Excellent. Okay, so this is an interesting question which relates to that. Mega asks, hi Mark, what do you think of moving from MP54s to MP5s? So the old MP54 to the MP5s, what do you think of moving from them to them? So the 54s had a slight little cavity cut back, I think I remember, didn't they?
Correct. Yeah, the 54s had kind of a T-slot milling across the back, similar technology that's in the 850 iron, aside from the boron. But going from the 54s to the 5s, it's something that you can do if you're a solid ball striker, but you're not going to quite get the forgiveness and the playability out of the MP5 that you did with the 54. 54 is a little bit longer from heel to toe, a little bit wider sole, a little bit thicker top line, designed to launch the ball in the air and actually designed to spin the ball a little bit more. The MP5, on the other hand, is a more compact club. It's more on the blade side of things. So what you'll gain in workability, you're going to lose in forgiveness. But if you're a solid ball striker, go for it. There's no better feeling than hitting a club like that. Yeah,
no, I agree, absolutely. So this is a fun question. I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Volsh, can you make Mizuno do a re-release of the MP14?
Ooh.
Do you remember that one?
Oh, that was an awesome one. I think a lot of people remember that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Classic club. I had them as a junior. I had them and loved them. It was that one, and I think there was the 11 as well, I think it was at the time, maybe.
Yeah, there was the 11 was the real butter knife, and
Yeah.
at the same time was 14s and 29s kind of sat side by side in the line.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a decent player who won the 97 Masters by 1,000,000 strokes playing those golf clubs. But in terms of a re-release of those,
Yeah.
it's funny because we always talk about kind of looking back at what we've done because we've got so many iconic irons,
Yeah.
especially on the blade side of things,
Absolutely.
like the 14s. And what I like to say is our new ones, even though they don't kind of have the mystique of the old ones, they're better golf clubs in terms of how they're designed. That what we've been able to advance in the 3D world and CAD design, they're going to have much better flow characteristics in terms of the center of gravity depth and the sweet spot height throughout the set. So it's going to be a more consistent performing golf club now compared to an MP14, which while it was a great club at the time, really I don't think was technologically advanced as they are now. So there's some great things to the 14s, but the new ones to me are much better performing clubs.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I've got a question then from Nashville Golf NG. This is on Twitter. Will there be different shaft options available with the new blades?
Yeah, so we've added a couple things to our lineup this year. The main things we did is we saw some gaps in our kind of lighter weight options. So we added I believe it was the XP95, and we added the KVS Tour 90, but we also have a number of different options: Project X, C-Taper Light, Dynamic Gold, all the kind of the ones you know.
Yeah.
And one of the things we're really pushing is throughout our fitting software, we'll build you any shaft, whatever you want, no upcharge. So by all means, get fit, see your local pro, try them out, and see what works best for you, and we'll build it up with whatever steel shaft we can do for no upcharge.
Yeah, cool, excellent. Now I've got a question, and someone's asked a question about the wedge. I've got an S5 in here. I showed it on a live stream the other night, and people are definitely drooling over the blue. I mean, it's a touch of kind of marketing genius to make this blue, because I'm sure performance-wise the blue isn't really doing much. I mean, I love the blue. It's cool. So the question I just saw on the feed go past: why the blue? Obviously, I presume it's just because it's Mizuno are famous for. And then the question I'll add to that is: have we got any? You've got any history or data? How's it going to go? You know, how's it going to wear? That's a few concerns I've had from people asking about how it will wear.
Yeah, so, I mean, to your first part of your question, we are Mizuno. We want to own that color blue,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
you really saw that kind of get revamped last year with the 850 line.
Yeah.
The wood line came with going from black or gray to a bright blue, and we want to do the same thing on the wedge world, where wedges, people are a little bit more adventurous with their wedges. They're not as conservative as they are with their irons. So we decided it was a good chance just to try something different. So the blue wedge has been very, very well received, and we're stoked about it. But performance-wise, it's going to perform the same as anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of durability, if you look back to our previous line in the T5 wedge, we had a white satin and a black ion. This is actually a blue ion plating. So it's a very similar plating, and it's going to wear very similar that the black did from last year. So what that means is it's a white satin chrome underneath.
Yeah.
So it is a plated wedge. It's not going to rust, but the blue is going to wear gently. And when you look at the bottom, it's going to wear to a white wedge underneath. So I've been playing mine. I'm fortunate enough that I've been playing mine for much longer than most people. I've probably got about 6 months on mine, and it looks pretty nice.
Cool, yeah. I mean, I like a little bit of wear on my wedges personally anyway. That's would be particularly a concern of mine. I just know a few people have been asking them. This is a great question. Cleve Bright on Twitter coming through here. He says, what's your most favourite club you worked on at Mizuno?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Going back, I'm a little bit partial to the first set of irons I worked on was the MP57.
Okay.
I liked those, but they weren't quite my cup of tea, like in terms of the size of them. I liked them because that was the first chance I really got to dive in. But my favorite set I've done was probably the MP59s. I thought they were a really great set, really cool look, cool technology,
Yeah.
and a lot of fun to work on. And it didn't hurt that they sold really, really well across the world.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got Missing in Action on the feed, says still rocking MP60s. is it time for an update? I mean, MP60 is still a classic club, isn't it? At the end of the day, you know, how would the lofts from an MP60 differ to the lofts of, say, the MP5?
So the 60s are going to be slightly weaker. The 60s were a 47 degree pitch and a 31 degree 6 iron.
Okay.
So we made the switch to 40, 46, and 30, starting with the MP63 iron. So instantly, just loft wise alone, you're going to see a little bit of distance gain going up from the MP60. Granted, there's a great golf clubs. It's amazing how many people still play that club.
Yeah.
But what I'd say is a club like the MP25 is going to be really good for that type of player because it keeps a lot of the traditional look at address, traditional feel, but you're going to get great gain not only from slightly stronger loft, but also from, you know, the added boron technology in the microslot to get a little bit more pop.
Okay, cool. Good question here coming through saying, are the MP25s the replacement for the MP15s? Say hi to Luke for me. So are the 25s a replacement for the MP15s, he's saying?
So they're really not.
No.
So one of the things we do at Mizuno is we try to, everything is a 2-year product. So we're not really looking to replace stuff right away. So the 15 is still going to sit in the line. 15 is still an awesome club. Luke's still playing the 15. So we're looking forward to working with him in the future to see what he goes into next, or if he stays in his 15. We don't mind about that. But the 25, it's a little bit of a different animal, and it's so funny to read on kind of golf forums and, you know, comment sections everywhere of people trying to place what this club is with the 25. Is it a 15 replacement? Is it a 54 replacement? But really, it's something completely different for us. So we didn't want to replace anything. We saw a gap in the market in terms of something that's very, very compact in players, but has a little hidden technology. So it doesn't really replace anything in the line. It's a new addition.
Excellent. And then a question for me. I've done a review on these today, so I'm pretty sure I know the answer. MP5s, more of a channel running through the back of this one, just allowing you to move a bit more weight behind the hitting area and a bit lower, I think, is it?
Yeah, so to look at the MP5 is kind of to look back at the MP32, which was a really good golf club, the introduction of the cut muscle.
Yeah.
But with the 32, that was actually right when I was starting with Mizuno. I remember that was the first club I saw sitting on a table when I walked into R&D.
Okay.
And it's a gorgeous club, and it performed great. But with that, we didn't have the sophisticated technologies in order to simulate vibration and really be able to judge the sound with that. Okay. So with the 32, we were very, very cautious with how much weight we could remove and move around. So while the 32 had a slight cut in it to move a little bit of weight around, with our new technology, with our HIT and with our simulation tools, we were able to pull even more weight, and we knew how we could reinforce it and make sure that the sound and feel weren't going to be affected. So it's almost a better way to think of it is like the 32 on steroids. Like it's everything that was and then just a little bit more.
Excellent.
So it's a great golf club.
Yeah, cool. So we got Scott Schubert asks Volsh, how many skinny ties do you own?
That's I own more than he'd care to know. So that's what I'll leave it at.
It's definitely your look. One other question I saw earlier, I can't remember where I saw it, is where is your Twitter profile picture taken? I can't remember your Twitter profile picture. Is it in a funny place, or where is it taken was a question I saw.
Well, I've got a couple of them. I've got kind of the main banner one is taken in our manufacturing center, where we've got about a 30-foot run bird painted on the wall. Great. And it's me kind of jumping in the air, kind of goofy, like you do on your videos for Golf Digest. But the main picture, like my profile picture, was taken at Cypress Point, which is a decent little golf course.
Yeah, what's it like there? It's nice, isn't it?
It's not bad. I can get used to playing that.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It was taken on the 16th hole there, which is a 255-yard par 3. So I'm ripping the driver.
Right, that's over the ocean, that one, isn't it? It's that kind of corner bit over the ocean, that hole, I think, isn't it?
Exactly. Excellent. It's a beautiful hole.
Excellent. So we'll do a couple more questions because I know you're busy, and thanks for your time this evening. We've got a question here saying, how do Mizuno come up with iron names? They seem quite random.
They are very random.
Okay.
No, there's a little bit of a system to it in terms of traditionally you'll see the kind of the lower numbers being the more demanding clubs and the higher numbers being the more forgiving clubs. In terms of on the MP side,
yeah.
For example, the 4 and the 5 are the more demanding. The 25 is a little bit easier to hit. But it's all, you run out of numbers and you start arguing with everybody about what's a good number, what's a bad number.
Yeah.
So to say there's a true system to it, I might be lying to you a little bit. We're kind of coming up with things as we go.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. So we're going to go one last question, and it's been fun. Thanks for your time. Like I say, we've got one last question. I quite like this question, actually. A good one to finish on. It's from Cleve Bright on Twitter. I think I've already picked one of his other questions tonight, but this is a good question, so it's worth asking. Best thing about working at Mizuno to finish up?
God, there's a lot of good ones.
And then actually, sorry, yeah, you got two questions. Ewan also asked, Chris, does Chris love his job? So it's kind of the same question there from Ewan and from Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love my job. I have a blast. And kind of the best thing about working for Mizuno, it's, you know, you've got a similar thing. We're working in the golf industry.
Yeah.
The worst day at work, we're coming here and we're talking about golf. I mean, it's really not that bad. It's a pretty good life.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Everything about it's great. It's a great company. I've been very fortunate to get to see the world and meet a lot of really, really cool people and develop some cool technologies.
Yeah,
so it's a great place.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you for the time. Just before you go, I will just ask you, I haven't seen them yet apart from pictures. We've got the new Jpx Ez and the new Jpx Ez Forged coming out in the new year as well, I think. Haven't we? You've got pictures on your website. They are looking interesting and good. I mean, I've used the Ez in the past. I'm at the moment on H5s. What's just a quick little brief of those two? What's the story behind them? Are you allowed to tell us?
I can, yeah. They're on the website. There's some info creeping out there.
Yeah.
So on the Ez, we took everything that was great about the Ez and made it that much greater. Everybody always says that, but what I mean is everything is really designed to be just as forgiving as possible. It's a new head shape for us, slightly straighter lines that really kind of encourage that really straight-looking ball flight, straighter leading edge, straighter top line, kind of more blunted toe area. And then we redistributed a lot of weight and recambered the sole to really just push weight as far to the extremes as possible. So because of that, the MOI is even higher, launch is even higher, and it actually feels even better than the previous Ez. So it's a really good step up. Excellent. And on the Ez Forged, we were able to bring the Boron technology into the Ez Forged as well. So what that's going to benefit us over the previous Ez Forged is larger sweep area because of more weight to play with thinner weight and deeper milling into the pocket, and higher COR, so longer distance. And again, both of these clubs are gaining distance through technology because the specs are the exact same as all of our Jpx irons.
Excellent. Perfect. Well, thanks for your time, Chris. Some great answers. People are enjoying them on the chats here. And yeah, always a pleasure to speak to you. Hopefully I'll catch up with you soon when you're over next. And what's the time with you? You're about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, aren't you? Where are you at the moment in the world? Tell everyone where you are.
I'm in Atlanta right now, but I'm getting ready to, I'm going golfing in New York this weekend. So
lovely.
It's a pretty good life.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, you have fun. Thanks for your time. And I'm sure we'll catch up again soon. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. And hey, you need to go get a skinny tie for next time I see you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hold you to that. Skinny ties, next time we're talking, I'll be wearing one. Good man. Thanks, Chris. Speak to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
There we go, guys. Brilliant. Thanks there, Chris, for his time. So good kind of insight into, I think you can really tell from Chris there how much he really, really loves his job, doesn't he? I mean, he's so passionate. And I love the fact that I was throwing some pretty old model numbers at him there. And he knew them all, didn't he? He knew them. Couldn't really trip him up on those. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching again. Loads more live streams, live feeds coming. I'm enjoying doing these. I'm enjoying the interaction. Hopefully, you're getting plenty from them. Watch my Twitter account over the next hours and days because I have one of these in a 60 degree to give away. I was going to give it away tonight with the live feed, but I've been so busy today I haven't had a chance to set anything up. So there will be a tweet, a giveaway, where you can win an S5 in 60 degrees in the stunning blue finish I'm loving these. The 56 and a 50 that I've got will definitely be going in my bag. Reviews coming very soon. So watch out on my Twitter account for that. Thanks as always for watching. Thanks for Mizuno for setting this up and for Chris as well. Check out my YouTube channel if you want to see the reviews on MP25s. I've also got reviews on MP5 coming, should go up tomorrow, and lots of other stuff as well as the wedges as it comes in. As always, people, thanks for watching. Hope, like I say, you've enjoyed it, and we'll speak to you soon.